Mike Owens with Inside Fighting, joined today by Jonathan Haggerty, who returns to action at 171, facing Wei Rui for the One Championship Bantamweight World title. John, always a pleasure, my man. How are things at you today?
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure to see you again, mate. All good. Training really hard out in Thailand at the moment. Roasting out here on the balcony.
All right, for some. All right, you say that to a very jealous man in the north of England. Why did you make the decision to go to Thailand for this one?
I sort of always go to Thailand for the last 6 weeks of fight camp.
Hmm.
Obviously, the last one I went to Denver 4 weeks before because obviously I was fighting there. So I sort of train better out here, if you know what I mean. I've got everything in like a close proximity, so it's great out here.
What are the key differences? Talk me through what the key differences are doing a camp in your home gym in England as opposed to a camp over in England, in Thailand, excuse me.
I mean, it's pretty smooth sailing over here. You know, at home in the UK, it takes me an hour and a half to get to training. Obviously, then I've got to train for an hour, and then I've got to travel back with another hour and a half. So it's like half a day training, and I've got to go again in the afternoon. So it takes up pretty much all the hours in the day. So there's not enough hours in the day for the training back at home. With here in Thailand, I'm staying in the gym this time. Obviously, I'm dedicating to my craft. Staying in the gym. Gym's right next to me. I've got my strength and conditioning right next to me. I've got my recovery close. Jump on my little motorbike and away I go. So it's pretty easy, mate.
Well, you're in the home of Muay Thai, but this is obviously going to be a kickboxing match. I know that
hmm
Muay Thai is your kind of one true love, but why did you make the decision to make the return for kickboxing? Was it just to defend the kickboxing title, or were there other reasons behind that?
Yeah, obviously, I don't want to keep the division on hold.
Mm.
Obviously, there's the Muay Thai. I'm going to let it play out, see how it plays out. Obviously, you've got the likes of Nabil now fighting Superlek. So I think let them guys fight while I defend my kickboxing belt. After the kickboxing belt, we'll go back to the drawing board and see what the options are. And yeah, just let it play out really and see what the options are.
This might sound like a bit of a casuals question, so apologies if you've had this one before, but how do
Yep.
you process the rule change between kickboxing and Muay Thai, and how do you know to hold some weapons and to let some others go? Is that kind of a mental decision that you have to make, or is it how does that work?
What? So you're talking about the elbows?
Yeah. So how do you know to not throw an elbow in a kickboxing match?
I mean, I'm pretty good at that, to be fair. You know, I
Mm,
was a bit worried the first fight, the first kickboxing fight. I was a little bit worried in case something did happen. I was catching the kicks, or I was going to throw a quick elbow.
mm.
Obviously, everything went to plan, and it was quite perfect, to be fair. And I really enjoyed it. So haven't thrown an elbow in training yet. Tell a lie, I've thrown two elbows in training, and I've been told off for it. So I've been punished for it. So I haven't done it again.
Mm.
So it's quite good, to be fair.
Have you ever been out to Qatar, or is this your first time?
Yeah, I went out to Qatar for the last Qatar One Championship event. Great experience, great people over there, great culture. So I'm excited to be back there
Well,
to
mate,
give them a show.
looking at your resume and the places you've fought, I'm struggling to find places on the map that you haven't had a fight in. Is there a dream fight, a dream location, or a venue or a stadium that's maybe still on the list that you want to tick off before it's all said and done?
Yeah, for sure. I've always wanted to fight in Japan.
Mm.
I know there's a Japan show coming up, so who knows what happens there. I've always wanted to fight in Vegas and obviously my home, the UK. I'd like to go back and fight in the UK because I haven't fought there for years and years now. So it'll be great to have a homecoming.
Well, we'll talk about that shortly, but I want to get onto this fight. What do you make of your next opponent? What do you think he does well, and where are some areas you're looking to exploit?
Yeah, he's obviously a great, worthy opponent. He's the number one in the division for a reason. He beat Akimoto. Um, Close fight, very close fight. But obviously, my coach has been paying close attention to the fights that he's had. We've been going through great game plans. Obviously, we know he's a southpaw. We know what he likes to throw. It's just up to us now to make little adjustments and little fakes and open him up, so make him feel uncomfortable. Um, yeah, he's a credible opponent, and I'm excited to get in there with him. And I don't want to be too confident, but put on a masterclass. That's what I'm looking to do.
Was there anything about his last fight that changed your opinion about him going into this one?
Um, like I said, I let my coach do the watching,
Mm,
and we just implement it in training. You know, everyone that I fight is going to be the best that they're going to be. So that's what my coaches say. You know, so every time I fight someone, they're going to be at their best because they're going to train as hard as possible. Because I believe I'm one of the top fighters and one of the hardest fighters out there. So they're going to be the best when they step in the cage. So it's obviously up to me to be the best version of myself. So
mm.
that's what we're doing. That's what we're working on. No stone unturned, and we're excited for this one.
How much tape do you watch on your opponents in the lead up to fight, or is that something that you leave kind of solely to your coaching team?
Yeah, not a lot, if I'm totally
Mm,
honest. Not a lot. Um, I leave it to my coach. I trust my coach. It's worked. It's worked well. If I start watching my opponent, I start sort of worrying about what he's gonna do, and then forget what I'm gonna do.
mm,
So I let my coach. We go to training. I let him throw the shots that my opponent throws, and it's up to me to counter, block, and stop him. So yeah, it's been fun. This training camp's been fun.
mm. I love it, mate. When you look at this fight, is there a specific goal that you're trying to get out of it past the victory, or is it a case of getting back on the horse with how the last fight went, or is there something else that you're looking to show on fight night?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me on this fight, if I'm totally honest, you know, keeping this kickboxing belt. Obviously losing the Muay Thai belt. Um, we don't want two losses in a row. That's one thing that I don't want. So I'm here to make it all right and get back on winning ways and keep defending the kickboxing belt. And I would say I want to go in there and blast them out in the first round, but I tried to do that with Superlek, and I feel like it was a little bit of a wrong game plan. So gonna take my time, pick my shots, and when the time comes, what I normally do just chip away, and then when it comes, then go in for the kill.
I have to ask you about the last fight against Superlek. How have you processed that fight as a whole? And were there any lessons that you feel like you can take going into this next fight and also the entirety of the rest of your career?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I took that loss very well, to be honest, mate.
Mm,
Obviously losing the belt against Rodtang, I was down in the dumps for months, and that obviously helped when losing to Superlek, losing the belt. I realized I've lost it before. I know what it takes to get it back, and I got it back. And that's just what I'm going to do this time round. You know, same thing, same process. Get back to the gym, dedicate myself to the sport, and it's another goal to get the belt again. So it gives me that extra push. So we know what we done wrong in the fight. We know training was great for that fight. You know, it was probably one of the best fight camps I've ever had. Obviously, things didn't work out, and you know we're here to right the wrongs, make them right.
Would you prefer to win back the bantamweight Muay Thai title, or would you prefer to get that win over Superlek back? Which one means more?
I think yeah, the belts. I think it's the win over Superlek for sure.
Mm,
You know, I've had the belts. You know, just getting the win over Superlek will be greater than the belt for sure.
yeah, 100%, mate. I have to ask you about some of the Brits in one championship. Obviously, Nico's coming off that massive fight with Nabil. What was your reaction to that? And did anything about that first round stoppage surprise you?
Do you know what? I don't like to kick a man when he's down, but I know the position that he's in now.
Mm,
I've faced that loss a few months ago, and it's not nice. I just feel like he focused on me fight week a little bit too much in the sauna. He was talking too much. He told me that he will never get knocked out in round one against a 135 pounder, which I believe Nabil could still make 135. So I think he focused on me a little bit that fight week and didn't focus on Nabil. I told him you got a hard fight in front of you. Focus on your opponent. And yeah, it was a great performance from the Bill. Very great performance, and I was impressed. Very impressed.
Which of those fights would you have more interest in the future?
I'd like to get my hands on Nico for sure.
Mm.
Obviously, he's gone up to featherweight, so Nabil will be a great fight for me. Great test, and I'm up for the challenge for sure.
Talking about being up for the challenge, where are you and Liam at? Liam Harrison at the moment. Is there still potential interest in that British versus British stuff, or have you moved past that one?
Yeah, me and Liam are cool. You know, me and
That's
him are
good.
cool. We're cool. You know, he's a legend of the sport. Um, respect him for what he's done for the sport. So yeah, we're all cool. But I'm sure he'd like to fight me, and I'm sure we'd like to fight each other. But it's just if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. So it's just one of them ones, really.
Mm. How you mentioned it a few minutes ago about a homecoming fight. How close do you think we are, or how close specifically do you think you are to bringing a one championship world title fight or a world title fight show back to the UK?
I think we're close. We are close. Obviously, Chartry was doing an interview the other day, saying it. So it's looking bright. It's looking good. We've got some great up and coming UK fighters on the show. Um, so yeah, I'm just hoping one day we can get the ball rolling for
How would
sure.
you Sorry, go ahead.
I've got one of the belts, so you know it could be a title fight main event. So that helps.
How would you envisage that looking? Like, what are you looking at in terms of in an ideal world, in terms of location, in terms of stadium size? What do you think would be realistic? What do you think we're talking?
I mean, people say I don't know if it will fill out at Wembley. I'm not too sure of the numbers really, if I'm
Mm,
totally honest,
yeah.
what numbers it will bring in. But any sort of venue in the UK, I'm happy to just compete in the UK and give the fans what they want and what they deserve. So I think the UK fans deserve it. They love the sport, they live for the sport. We've got a great support in the UK. So just giving back will be great.
Do you have a football team, John? Are you a football fan?
I am, yes. Chelsea.
We could do it at Stamford Bridge. Like we could try and make that
That
work. That would be fun.
I think I've said that a few times. That would be a dream come true. Or even at the Mill Stadium next to my house.
Mm. Good stuff. Um, Mate, I remember when I first interviewed you, it would have been 2021, I think it was. I think you had around about 100,000 followers on Instagram at the time. I think
Wow.
now we're way over 500,000, I think closer to 600,000. I feel like even in the time that I've been covering you and chatting with you, your star power has just grown tremendously. Do you feel like you're getting the respect that you now deserve, not only yourself, but also bringing the British Muay Thai scene up in the way in which you have?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I'm very thankful, obviously, for all the support that I'm getting, the recognition. I train day in, day out. I train hard. Every fight camp, I put my heart on the line. I train very hard. I don't take easy fights. I feel like I'm a great ambassador for the sport, a great role model for the young up and coming kids as well. So that's just my plan to make sure I motivate the younger generation coming up. I've got a few of the young guys, the young kids in the Lamai gym here, young boys, watching me train, sitting on the ring, and it's quite motivating, you know, just to give it that extra push so they can see what it takes to be a champion. So yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm very honoured.
We've got so many great fighters coming out of the UK at the moment, from the boxing world to kickboxing to Muay Thai to MMA, so on and so forth. Here's a difficult one for you. Excluding Jonathan Haggerty, who's the pound for pound number one British fighter at the moment across all disciplines
In the UK.
in the UK?
Oh, do you know what? It's hard because I just stay in my lane. I don't really focus on anybody else, if I'm
Mm,
totally honest. But
mm,
obviously, there's a few. You got the likes of George Jarvis. Been training out here with him, George Jarvis. He's great. Obviously, you got Nico Carrillo as well. No, just because he's had that loss doesn't mean he's not good at what he does. He's up there with the best. Obviously, you got the likes of Harrison. Um, my younger brother. I can't forget my younger brother.
mm.
Uh, Heart of a Lion. There's a few, and they're only going to get better and better with experience, with coming of age. So yeah, everybody's got what it takes for sure.
I love it, mate. Well, last one from me. Obviously, the focus is this next fight coming up next month. There we go. There we go. A little bit of arrogance. I like it. I like it. Um, what are the rest of your goals? So obviously the focus is this victory next month, but past that, assuming you get the W, what are the rest of your goals for 2025?
Beat Superlek, um, beat Nabil, and who knows? I keep saying it, but obviously there's always setbacks. There's always me defending my belts. I want to fight Andrade for the MMA belt. He had a great performance, so not sure how far like down that is, but that would be a great experience for myself to test myself against Andrade for the MMA belt.
How's the MMA training going? Are you still practicing your takedown defense for your eventual move over, or where's that at?
Not yet, mate. I've been too focused on losing to Superlek and just defending the belts, if I'm honest, mate. So
Mm,
once something's lined up, or I've got no title defenses or no Muay Thai kickboxing fights coming up, I will obviously do some MMA training. But I'm totally up for it for sure. I'm very open for it.
I love it, mate. Well, look, it's always a pleasure catching up. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Have a
you,
great and safe rest of camp, and best of luck for the
thank
next
you,
fight.
brother. Nice to see you again. See you, bro.